Welcome to the Postsecondary Data Partnership Fall 2020 Data Submission and Reporting Cycle webinar. I am your host, Michelle Raza. Please type your questions in the QA box and I will be happy to answer them at the end of the presentation. By the end of this presentation, you will understand the data submission process, learn how to manage your file submissions. This includes how to review, reject, and certify submitted files, learn how to resubmit data, understand the data quality checks, and finally, review resources. There are two different logins for the PDP depending on what you want to do. The secure FTP account is used to upload data and is a shared mailbox. If you would like to add individuals to this mailbox, please send a request to pdpservice@studentclearinghouse.org. Please note all users added to the FTP account will receive notifications when a file is uploaded. The PDP application account is your login that you will use to manage your file submissions. To access your dashboards, you will log in using the same account. Managing access for this is maintained by your institution's user administrator. The Analysis Ready file will be delivered to you via Secure FTP. If you are participating on multiple clearinghouse services, please make sure to use your PDP-specific FTP username to log in. The Fall 2020 data submission began on September 8, 2020. For this reporting cycle, we are collecting spring and summer term data from the 2019 to 2020 academic year. The effective dates are set for September 18, 2020 and November 13, 2020. This is the effective date for merging certified PDP data submissions with Degree Verify and enrollment reporting data submitted up to that point by your institution for PDP Spring 2020 reports. Any Degree Verify and enrollment data submitted by your institution after the effective dates will not be included in the PDP reporting as it will be processed with the September 18th or November 13th effective date. With degree and enrollment data matching process and final data quality checks on the certified data set will begin after the effective date. Institutions that have certified their PDP data submission by the effective date should expect the Analysis Ready file to be received in their FTP receive folder within 30 days. Within 5 business days of your Analysis Ready file delivery, updated Tableau dashboards will be available. Institutions can submit PDP data after the effective date and receive reporting within 30 days from the latest certification date. Please note the additional data quality checks that are performed after the degree and enrollment data matching process can reveal data discrepancies that may require institutions to resubmit data to ensure the best quality outcomes. If your institution is required to resubmit data, then your institution's reporting will be available within 30 days from the latest certification date. Please also note that the optional financial aid file will be a part of the certification process. If you are submitting the financial aid file, please notify the clearinghouse at pdpservice@studentclearinghouse to let us know that you are done. Now that we've discussed the timeline, let's take a look at what you will need to submit. For the cohort file, you want to include all students that enrolled at your institution for the first time in the spring 2020 term. For the course file, you want to include all students from your previous and current cohorts that enrolled at your institution in the spring 2020 term. Please follow the same logic for your summer 2020 files as well. For the optional financial aid file, please follow the same logic as the course file. You may submit data up to the 2019 to 2020 academic year. As mentioned previously, please make sure you submit your institution's most recent enrollment and degree data file through other clearinghouse services. Here are some best practices. Please make sure to read the data submission guide carefully. We encourage you to test out your FTP, and application credentials early on. Please let us know via the PDP service email address if you have any trouble accessing these accounts. Finally, please add the following emails to your safe senders list. This will ensure that emails from these addresses will not end up in your spam or junk mail. Now it is time to prepare for submission. As you're developing your files, please make sure that you include I underscore at the start of the name, followed by your PDP-specific FTP username as a prerequisite to the file name. This will ensure that your file will be picked up by the clearinghouse. In this example, 123456 PDP is the PDP FTP username. Hometown Cohort Spring 2020 is the file name. Please make sure you specify the file type, term, and year for which you are submitting the data for in the file name. Your file must be in CSV or text extension. Each file contains the following sections. The header record identifies the sending organization and the file type. The column header row is the second row of the data file, and the labels are case sensitive. Please make sure that you follow these guidelines carefully and check for spelling. The detail record is where all the student records are stored. And finally, the trailer record, which identifies where data ends in your file. Now let's work through an example of a cohort file layout. As a reminder, the record type values such as DCE01, DCE02, DCE03, CH1, D1, and T1 are special. They must be the first field in the row, otherwise you will receive an invalid record type error. The header record type field must always be populated with DCE01 to indicate the file type is the cohort. The column header record contains the column labels. The column headings must match the values in the detail records. The detail record contains the individual student data records. Please include one data record for each student. For the detail records, we see cohort year, which is the academic year the student first enrolled in at least one course. This is followed by cohort term field. We want to know the term in which the student first came to your institution. You must enter fall, winter, spring, or summer values only. For this example, we're submitting 2 students, and we've entered fall for both John and Jane Doe. The cohort term begin date and the cohort term end date fields must be in 4-digit year, 2-digit month, 2-digit day format. Here we want to know our institution's overall term begin and end date. We have entered 2017 08/10 as the term begin date and 2017 12/20 as the term end date. Your term days for the semester should be the year 2020. Lastly is the trailer record. The record type value, the first field in the trailer record must be T1. The second one is the row number. In this example, we have 5 rows including the trailer record, so we have entered 5. Please note the character length for each field can carry a maximum of 255 characters. If a field exceeds the maximum length, a database error will occur and you will not receive an automated receipt email. Please note this error is different from a structural and field level validation error. Now let's work through an example of a course file layout. The header record in the course file is the same as the header record in the cohort file. The only difference is the record type field. Here you must populate the field with DCE02 to indicate the file as a course file. The column header record contains the column labels. The column headings must match the values in the detail records. The column header labels differ from the cohort file. Please refer to page 18 of our data submission guide for a full list of the column header labels. As a reminder, the cohort term field is the term in which the student first came to your institution. You will need to enter fall, winter, spring, or summer values. The term field is the term for which we are currently collecting data in this submission window. Please also enter fall, winter, spring, or summer values only. Please note the course end date allows for a future end date for any courses that may have not been completed. For the, for the course trailer record, this is the same as a cohort file, and the record type must be T1. Now we will cover the financial aid file. The header record type value for the financial aid file must be DCE03. The column header record contains the column labels. The column headings must match the values in the detail records. Please refer to page 23 of our data submission guide for the accepted column header labels. The detail record contains the individual student records. The trailer record must begin with T1, same as the cohort and course file, indicating the end of the data file. Now it is time to start submitting your files. To start the data upload, please go to the Clearinghouse homepage, studentclearinghouse.org. Then select FTP Login at the top right-hand corner of the screen. This is the FTP login screen. You must log in using your PDP-specific FTP mailbox. Please note you may also have access to the secure FTP website by going to the URL links provided on the screen. There is an option to reset your password if needed. Simply click on Request a Password Change. Once logged in, click on the Upload button to launch the Upload wizard. A pop-up window will display. You can add files by dragging and dropping down from your computer into the window. Repeat as necessary to upload multiple files. Alternately, click Browse to select files using your OS Explorer. Within a few minutes of submitting your PDP files, you will receive an automated email from the Clearinghouse indicating that your file was received. This email will not indicate a pass or fail. If you did not receive an email, please ensure the following. The emails were not sent to your junk mail, the correct service account number was provided in the header record, and your PDP FTP username was included in the file naming convention. The following email will tell you the status of the structural level validation. Please note that formatting errors will only be reported to you one at a time. This is because our system cannot continue reviewing files with formatting errors until it is corrected and resubmitted. Once the structural validation has passed, the system will then check for any field level errors. Unlike the structural validation, the system can uncover several field level errors which will be listed in the error report log. Please note if your file was delivered to the clearinghouse but you did not receive an email on the file status or are unable to review the error report log in the PDP application, your file may have received a database error. This error is different from the structural and field level validation errors. If this occurs, please email us at pdpservice@studentclearinghouse.org and we will resolve the issue. Now it is time to log into the PDP application and review the status of your data submission. Now it is time to manage your file submissions. Our site was redone in August and may look a little different than what you're used to. From the Clearinghouse website, go to the PDP application. Click Access Your Resources. To the right, select Check File Status, or you may bookmark the unique URL link to your browser, which will take you directly to the PDP application. This is the application login page. You will use your web ID and password to log in. This is the landing page of the PDP application, also known as the File Submission Summary page. You will only be able to see your institution's files. On this page, you can review the metadata contained in each submission by clicking on the caret to the left of the submission number, reject files you do not want processed and included in your reports. Selecting an option from the data status dropdown will filter results in the table so you can easily track the progress of your files. And the Review Data Quality button, which is used for informational purposes only in order to see the status of the various data quality checks. To view the error report log for structural or field level validation errors, click on the submission number as shown. This is an example of the error report log. To go to the landing page, click on the Postsecondary Data Partnership link at the top. The first step in managing your file submissions is to carefully review and reject any files you do not want processed. File rejection could occur for the following reasons. The data file is no longer valid and a replacement file was submitted, a data file was accidentally submitted more than once, or if the data file was a test file. Please remember that you can only reject files if the data status indicates that the data quality failed or if the file has passed. To reject a file, click on the Reject button. A message will appear on your screen to confirm your action. Please note that once you reject a file, it cannot be undone. If you reject a file by mistake, simply resubmit the file. Once you click Yes, the data status of the file will change to Rejected. To start the data certification process, click on Manage Submissions. Notice that the search fields at the top are pre-populated. All the files will have a Pass Data status. The Certify button should be used to indicate that your data submission is complete and you do not plan to submit any additional files in the submission window. As mentioned previously, you can expand the submissions to view the metadata within each file. The submission summary metadata table at the bottom provides a total count on the cohort metadata and course metadata. The full range of cohort and course years in combination with the terms and total records available is for your review. Once you have verified the submitted data and you are confident that there are no additional files that are required, the certification can begin. Click on the Certify button. A message will appear at the top of your screen to confirm the submission numbers listed. If the files meet your expectations, click Yes. The status of the files will change to Certified. Once the data is certified, the PDP application applies a series of data quality checks. These checks review the response rate of specific data elements, duplicate students and courses, as well as compare the most recently submitted data to historical data. To check the status of your files in the data quality stages, click on Review Data Quality. By default, the most recent submission window is populated, and those results are displayed. You will have the ability to view a specific submission number and review results of the past submission windows as well. The data table on this page displays the executed data quality checks on whether they have passed or failed. Please note the data quality checks have an allowed threshold, and a submission will only fail if the percent of errors exceeded said threshold. In the case of a failed data quality check, a PDP team member will review the data quality results and reach out to you directly via email to determine if any action is required from you. Please submit your resubmissions along with other required data for this window that certify your files. Afterward, email pdpservice@studentclearinghouse.org to let us know that the certified data includes data that was previously submitted and reported on. Here are some of the Clearinghouse Academy resources. The screenshot on the left contains PDP course information. There are micro tutorials available covering a range of topics such as how to correct common file errors, how to reject and certify your dataset, and more. The screenshot on the right contains additional resources found under the Materials tab. There is a general FAQ, a user guide on how to utilize the features in the PDP application, and more. We have additional webinars upcoming and a few Q&A office hours. The office hours are for you to drop in and ask any questions about the PDP file submission process. I will be hosting them along with several of my colleagues, so please take advantage of these great resources. In the meantime, if you have any questions or need resources, please visit us online at studentclearinghouse.org/colleges/PDP or email us at pdpservice@studentclearinghouse.org. This concludes the PDP data submission webinar. We will now open the floor for questions. Alrighty, thank you so much to everyone who joined. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day.